We have to find somebody that'll work with us that has dealt in the dirtiest of dirty business. We're losing.
Diddy's career may be nearing its end after 50 Cent released shocking prison tapes that sent the internet into a frenzy. Fans immediately began wondering what else 50 was holding back. During a recent discussion about his Netflix docuseries Sean Combs' The Reckoning, 50 Cent hinted that what the public has seen so far is just the beginning, and confirmed he has more tapes ready to drop.
There's other stuff that you just have not shown.
Yeah, well, everything couldn't make it was 4 episodes.
Right.
So it was a lot. You had to pick and choose things. Like even in an area where he chooses to date people who he knows previously dated someone. He has a baby by a woman that was dating Tupac.
Wow.
To add to it, but we had to cut it down. So
for time. So are you coming out? I know next year is going to be a number 2. Season 2?
Just put it on YouTube.
I just put it on YouTube.
That's right. 50 Cent has hinted at releasing even more Diddy tapes, this time on YouTube, making them accessible to everyone. But the biggest bombshell since that interview is the explosive allegation that Diddy attempted to intimidate and influence a juror. This revelation has sent shockwaves across the internet. Here are the details.
Well, Diddy was recording because he thought he was about to beat the case. So he wanted to do a Netflix documentary. Didn't pay the guy, and then 50 got all 140 hours of footage of secret Diddy tactics. Well, there's a guy named Neil who was mentioned in the court, works right up under Diddy, was organizing everything. Allegedly, they are saying that he is on video, film, tampering with witnesses, giving out addresses, offering money, bribing, we'll pay for your lawyers, all kind of shit that could be counted as witness tampering, obstruction of justice. And 50 of all people has his hands on this footage. And I'm hearing that this could implicate Diddy's lawyers in some bullshit. They could be charged. This shit is getting wild. And I'm hearing that this 50 Cent documentary is just the fucking tip of the iceberg.
This guy in this video said one specific name, and it was Neil, and it automatically made me think of Neil Dominique. Everything that we just covered the other day that came out from Diddy's former chef, Jordan, who was going to be a witness testifying against Diddy in the criminal trial. If you remember, she just took to her Instagram calling out Neil Dominique, saying that he was basically the one to give Diddy information that she was testifying to the grand jury. She has been claiming for a while, when she testified to this grand jury on April 2nd of 2024, just 2 weeks later, Diddy's attorney would text her saying, "Dear Chef Jordan, this is Aaron Dyer. I'm Sean Combs' attorney. I left you a voicemail last week, but wanted to follow up. I have been told you have been contacted by law enforcement and might want an attorney to represent you." So that man in this video was basically saying that 50 Cent has video footage of Diddy talking to these people and setting this up to go after.
The craziest part is that 50 Cent is now saying this himself. He openly revealed that he has 140 hours of footage after people started speculating. He even posted online, "Yes, I have the footage, Joel," which left everyone stunned. But it doesn't stop there. 50 has since explained why he decided to go after Diddy so aggressively.
So it's clear. Any reserve, like fear that they would feel towards him. I don't think he's.
As it turns out, many people who refused to appear in earlier documentaries finally agreed to participate in this one because they trusted 50 Cent and no longer felt afraid to speak out.
People in this docuseries wasn't in the previous doc that you saw because they said, "No, I'm gonna do that one because 50 that's gonna be the big one." Because I'm not scared of none of that. Like, you know, I think it's just the way I was put. I don't really register like those things. I've been through way more extreme things than these people. I look at the project. It's just another project, and they can take reasoning for it. It could be their personal take on why it's the way it is. But if they watch the docuseries itself, they understand it's been done tastefully. It is. If that version of a docuseries that you'll see on this. Well, it is a big part of the culture. Like he's a respectable. They made it to a respectable position. go to. Any smart person would pick their fights. And you say, I don't really get anything out of it, it's not my business anyway, so why say something? The docuseries is you putting together people who had different experiences and letting them tell the picture. Right? A lot of things come out, make clarity for you in a different way to it. But I only was comfortable saying stuff about him because I've been saying it for 20 years. I've said it since that day, that day.
One of the biggest moments was securing footage from Diddy's final days before his arrest and indictment. Seeing that raw material for the first time was explosive and shocking. According to 50 Cent,
It's really fascinating. The journalists would ask that, but the journalists would also say, I'm going to see my sources, sure, but I got it, though. They can blame it on I think he's going to actually like the project. He's going to see that it was done. Because he's going to see too many people, and he'll be consumed by what his personal experience was with each individual, the same individual, because he lived. She's going to understand it. You can interview her following that, and I'll do the interview with her. I'll make sure I put it together. Yeah, because I had communications with like, to understand it, what's going on. And even though like she's not in the documentary, it was important I spoke to her to understand how she's fine. The husband spoke to him away from her. It was separate individual communications, and see the things kind of match up. Like when people say things, I go, okay, I hear what you said, but you hear things multiple times from people, different people. It kind of rings true. He got old real fast. And look at his hair was jet black. Like mine, then the next day he was like a full. All I saw from was the raccoon pictures from the courtroom. When they drew him, it looked like a raccoon.
just like that, 50 Cent stepped back into the spotlight armed with the one thing he values most: proof, real receipts. He's made it clear that if you're not producing a full documentary about your enemy's downfall, then you're simply not beefing at his level. 50 has also spoken openly about why so many A-list celebrities from Diddy's inner circle have remained silent, choosing distance over accountability. For years, 50 quietly collected material on Diddy, moving patiently and deliberately, waiting for the right moment. That moment has finally arrived. With Diddy now locked up, reportedly shouting at his lawyers from behind prison walls, there's nothing he can do to stop the documentary's momentum. His legal team has already tried, releasing statements calling the project illegal and pressuring Netflix to remove it. But the damage is already done, however. One major and controversial detail was left out of the documentary: the death of someone extremely close to Diddy, his former bodyguard Anthony Wolf Jones. Gene Deal recently spoke out, criticizing the documentary for completely excluding this incident and accusing Diddy of playing a role in Wolf's death. According to Gene, long-standing claims about the East Coast versus West Coast rivalry beginning with Big Jake's murder are misleading. Gene insists that Wolf was not the gunman who killed Jake, and that everyone involved knows the truth. Wolf, who handled security and coordinated operations for Puff, had been firm about his safety. He repeatedly warned that he would not travel unless his team was fully protected. Those warnings, Gene says, were communicated clearly to multiple people, including Puff and Kirk Burroughs. Despite that, Wolf still ended up dead, an omission that continues to raise serious questions and fuel controversy surrounding Diddy's legacy.
Kirk Burroughs called me up. He said, yo, Gene, you and Wolf, I got y'all tickets to L.A. I said, all right, cool. So I go down there and I pick up tickets to L.A. I got Wolf tickets. So I'm calling Wolf up. I said, yo, Wolf, I got your ticket to go to LA. Wolf said, I ain't going. I said, what you mean you ain't going? He said, yo, Gene, I ain't gonna tell you how I'm making my, I ain't gonna tell you how to make your money, but I'm gonna let you know this. I told Puff them if they wasn't gonna take 2 tour buses of my niggas out there with us, I'm not going. This is the head of all the functions that has to do with Puff dealing with security. I have my own contract with Puff, yeah. Paul Alford ran Green Gate Security, which is the daily operations of Puff stuff. That's his house, his cars, his uh, transportation. He ran the office, the bad boy office, the clothing, all that shit. He ran the daily operation with his security. Wolf is over whatever's happening with Puff. You understand? Wolf tells Puff them and tell Kirksborough them, no, if y'all not going out there right, nobody should go out there at all.
Tragically, Wolf lost his life while protecting Puff and managing security operations. Gene stressed that this crucial part of the story, including Wolf's ties to BMF, was entirely omitted from the documentary.
Wolf did not and was not going anywhere that had to do with California. And it wasn't because of the Jake situation. It was that he wanted to be safe, and the only way he felt safe if he was going out there with the dudes from his clique. And that was the Valley Mob. That's the only way. Wolf ended up losing his life behind Puff and his bullshit. And people they didn't even put that in the documentary. Wolf ended up losing his life behind Puff and his bullshit. And that bullshit was with BMF. That's a big segment in my book that I wrote that whole shit. I wrote a whole big situation in my book regarding that, Mighty. And I know you're doing this. I want to say that right there because I was there the night that Meech had promised Puff. You know what I'm saying? He ain't have to worry about Suge Knight. He ain't have to worry about nobody from this point on. And telling Puff some shit like that made him think that he could talk to Wolf any kind of way. Because if anybody knew BMF was powerful back then, they had dudes from everywhere. And Meech telling him he ain't have to worry about nobody no more, it made Puff think that he could tell Wolf that he didn't need Wolf no more. And one thing led to the next.
Gene's point is clear. Wolf's death was far from an accident or a minor footnote. It was deeply tied to industry dynamics and decisions made by those in power, and it deserved far more attention than the documentary provided. Meanwhile, Diddy and his family are reportedly preparing a staggering $1 billion defamation lawsuit, potentially one of the largest in history. In response to the documentary, however, 50 Cent pointed out that pursuing legal action would require Diddy to prove that everything in the documentary is false, which could open a dangerous door and create even more complications. Financially, Diddy is also facing challenges. Even with immense wealth, ongoing legal battles, appeals, and mounting attorney fees are draining, and without new income, maintaining the lavish lifestyle he's accustomed to could become increasingly difficult. Arguably the real punishment, adding to the pressure, Diddy reportedly secretly recorded private conversations with his lawyer, Mark Agnello, the same attorney who successfully defended him in court. This represents a massive breach of trust. Lawyers rely on client confidentiality and privilege to communicate freely, provide advice, and protect clients, often allowing a third party to be present to record sensitive discussions when necessary. By secretly recording these conversations, Diddy completely undermined that trust, creating another serious complication and deepening the legal and ethical challenges surrounding his current situation.
Garagos, who is my co-host on Two Angry Men, he's represented Diddy for years, and his daughter is part of the Agnifilo defense team, and he was involved in all of this. So in this past weekend's podcast, I pushed him to find out how Agnifilo really feels here, and Mark kind of skirted it some, but I think you get the sense. Diddy knew that Mark was being recorded. Diddy didn't tell Mark. Does Mark feel betrayed by Diddy?
I've not talked to Mark about it.
What do you
How he
think?
would feel.
What do you
I
think?
will tell you I'll just tell you, if it was me, I would be more than a little upset. I was more than a little upset when the client didn't know and I was being recorded. I mean, there was a while there where I was meeting clients under bridges, freeway bridges, because I was PTSD over it. So I think, as a lawyer, it is one of the most inviolate oaths that you take to protect the client confidentiality and the client privilege. So I don't know. I haven't talked to Mark, but if I were Mark, I would be out of my head.
It's incredible. Diddy did two things here. Number one, he betrayed Mark Agnifilo, who, to your point, did so much for him. Obviously, without Mark Agnifilo, may very well be spending the rest of his life in prison. The second thing that he did is, by having a third party that's privy to the conversation, the videographer in this case standing there, there's no privilege, right? Diddy waived that entire privilege. Now, it didn't end up backfiring because it seems nobody knew about it until the end of trial, and what are you going to do at this point? But it's such a callous act by Diddy to just sell out his lawyer like that. It's so...
Ever since Diddy made this incredibly foolish mistake, revelations about his criminal activities and empire have kept surfacing. The documentary includes footage from this period showing Diddy out on the streets, stopping to take photos with people, mostly men, who approach him. At one point, he jokes about needing hand sanitizer and a bath after all the hugs he's given, saying, "That's what I have to do. It's like 150 hugs. You feel me? We've got to be realistic about what's going on out here. It's time to cleanse." In another segment, Diddy discusses hiring an editor to compile clips of Don Richard, a former member of his groups Donady Kane and Diddy Dirty Money. Don has filed a civil suit against him, alleging sexual assault, battery, harsh working conditions, and inadequate pay. Despite these serious accusations, Diddy attempts to present her speaking positively about their relationship. Given Don's claims, she has every reason to speak negatively about him, making Diddy's effort to portray the opposite deeply manipulative. The documentary highlights how he has tried to rewrite the narrative, painting a carefully crafted image that hides the darker truths of his behavior and business practices.
On the stand for 20 minutes. She will continue on Monday, but before I tell you what she testified to, I do want to give you a warning that she does talk about violence and abuse. Started off with Dawn testifying that she was working with Diddy from 2004 until 2011. She opens up about an incident she witnessed in 2009 when she went to Diddy's home in order to record. She said her and Cassie were downstairs when they heard Diddy yelling and coming down saying, "Where the F are my eggs?" She said Diddy grabbed the skillet full of eggs and tried to hit Cassie on the head, and she went down in a fetal position. Was punching and kicking Cassie before he put his arm around her neck. Diddy then grabbed her by the hair and dragged her up the stairs, and she was in shock. She said she was so in shock she did not intervene, nor did she call the police. Next day, she said Diddy locked her and another person in the recording studio and threatened them. In her own words, he said what we saw was what lovers in passionate relationships do. She said Cassie was okay and it would be in our best interest if we didn't say anything. Claims that Diddy then said he was trying to get them to the top of the industry before threatening them by saying where he comes from, people go missing if they talk. Then after all of that, he got them flowers. Prosecutor then asked, "How did you understand that?" And she said, "Death." His attorney yelled objection, and then they had a sidebar. That's when attorneys from both sides will come up to the judge and whisper between one another.
If she witnessed, and she's saying that she witnessed a gangbang, which actually we know it as called a train. And she worked on the album, The Train to Paris. And like I heard one of the YouTuber, could be Tish Tell, say that we didn't know what the train to Paris meant. But now we know that the train of Paris was a train in Scotland, according to Dawn. It wasn't a train in Paris, it was a train in Scotland. Now, only time I ever witnessed Puff doing something is when 2 guys and 2 girls will go in the room. And that was just regular. And however they did it, whatever they did, that was their business. But he gotten bold enough, whereas that he would do that in front of Dawn and other people at a poolside in Scotland. You sure it was Scotland, man?
Yeah, that's what she said, man.
Scotland, Arizona, but not Scotland, the country.
Nah, she talking about the country, man.
Wow. I just think that, you know, man, you got to go back to the drugs and the alcohol. The drugs and the alcohol, man. And those things that make you do strange things. And for somebody to just gang banging an assistant, she might have a lawsuit now too. She might have a lawsuit too. Because you can't do that to people that work for you.
The series also features audio from a 2008 proffer interview with Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, who is currently awaiting trial for the 1996 murder of Tupac Shakur. A proffer allows someone to share information with law enforcement without it being directly used against them, though it isn't full immunity. In the documentary, Davis gives a detailed account alleging that Diddy arranged Tupac's killing for $1 million. Intro 11. Is it proof that Diddy did it? Absolutely not. A proffer or interview like this doesn't automatically establish guilt, but it can help when piecing together evidence through the statements of the alleged killer himself.
He even said that, like, in retrospect, that was probably the best thing that could have ever happened to Puffy. By Zip stealing the money, now Puffy isn't connected to that shit. Or else it would have been like a murder for hire or something, you know what I'm saying?
The FBI said that Zip.
So the FBI told you the
They said he
same
was
thing.
a dirty motherfucker, yeah.
So the FBI told you that Zip kept that money as well.
They said Zip's a dirty motherfucker. Everybody crossed you. You're the last one to know every fucking thing. Even lawyers, your friends, everybody can cross.
The documentary also explores Diddy's early life, his relationship with his mother, past romances often marked by abuse, and insight into his mindset as he rose through the ranks of the music industry.
What makes you say you lost your empire because of Puffy? Why you say that?
I did. Shit. You know. If I wouldn't have never met him, I wouldn't have never been involved in this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? If I would have never met the brother, I would have never been involved in this bullshit. Really. Because me and Suge was playing on the same Pop Warner team and everything. My homeboys helped put Suge in the game and all that shit, you know. It really crashed two people's empire. That fucking one night. I'm saying, mine's for sure. Suge's too.
Right. Yeah, man. So you feel like Puffy, he's the reason for your empire and Suge empire going down because of the whole situation with Tupac.
Exactly. He the only one still balling. Shit. He made our shit go down, man. Yeah, I ain't even met him. He won't even look out or nothing. You know?
So break that down, man, for the people out there that don't know that story. What did Puffy do exactly to break down y'all empires?
Because he pitted us against each other, it seemed like he pitted us against each other. You know, which was kind of smart because we're Crips and Suge was Bloods. Like, you know what I'm saying? He just called me and Zip was rolling up Greenleaf one night. He called and asked, you think it's safe to come out here to do our concerts? I just said, man, give me like 50 tickets to each concert. We'll be out there with you. We'll go with you. We went to the concert in San Diego. Went to the concert in Anaheim, Irvine Meadows, and the one in Las Vegas with them. Yeah, and back then they was just a startup coming up. You know what I'm saying? They didn't really have no money like that. We were balling. We was the bosses.
This is a young man who grew up with street-funded privilege. After his father passed away, it's very clear that his mother kept on hustling and kept hanging around hustlers. Tim Dog has described the parties in the house. Pimps, hoes, hustlers, models, basketball players. You got that kind of crowd. got to be a drug dealer or so there. Alcohol everywhere. There was a stage built in the living room, and they were asked to perform as kids. I mean, like, this is how he grew up. It was almost as if he was designed to throw the parties that we'll later hear about. From the white parties to the parties overseas, with very, 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 very interesting things happening there, all the way to the freak-offs. It's like Sean Combs was in a never-ending party his whole life. Now, from a boy being draped in chinchilla to a boy running around the streets promoting parties, interning for Andre Harrell before he got a paid position. I mean, life was like a whirlwind. It was almost like he was in too much of a rush to grow up. I mean, even the way Andre Harrell said he bullied his way into his home, coming up with some story about a fight between him and Janice and how he couldn't live with his mom anymore. And next thing you know, he's living with Andre. Now, I'm going to be very honest with you. In my opinion, I do not believe they were just roommates. I do not believe this was just a mentor-mentee relationship. In my opinion, from rumors that I've heard, some things that might have been lost along the way, there was a much closer relationship between Andre and Puffy.
It also highlights a pattern of Diddy repeatedly entering risky, legally and emotionally volatile situations, yet somehow escaping consequences. Taken together, these revelations increasingly portray him as a deeply damaged and morally corrupt figure who knowingly continued cycles of trauma, leaving multiple innocent people harmed along the way.